Today, we're going back into the realm of security, and security cameras specifically. So Reolink has been a company that I've done several videos for in the past, and I'm really looking forward to continuing that relationship. They sent me another camera to show you guys, and I can't wait to get it out of the box, test it out. This is one of their brand new cameras that are coming out, the RLC 812A. So let's get into it. So, welcome back to GeekSmart, ladies and gentlemen, and off we go into the, like I said, the realm of security. So, with this specific Reolink camera, it's quite a bit different than the other Reolink cameras that I've done in the past. This is going to be the first bullet style, rather than the more dome style that I've done before. So this is going to connect a little bit differently, but this one also has a lot more unique features. So the quality of the video should definitely be better on this guy. We're looking at an 8 megapixel sensor versus a 5 megapixel, what I've been doing. So this is going to be more of your 4K quality almost. I think they actually call it 4K quality, but 8 megapixel. This one also has two-way audio. My other cameras that I have from Reolink don't have that. And this also has person and vehicle detection. So I'm still actually on the fence of where I want to place this camera, but I'm really looking forward to showing you guys. We're going to actually fully set it up here in the actual studio. We're going to connect to the NVR, get it all fully up and running, and then I'm going to actually do the install outside. I am going to include that install on the video, but it's going to be a smaller portion at the very, very end where I actually place it. And down the road, I may add another one of these, depending on how much I like it and everything. But I'm kind of going back and forth whether I want to put it out front, or I'm actually more worried about, I definitely want to keep more tabs on people in my backyard. So I think I'm actually going to put this facing out back instead. So that's what I'm thinking. But this is one of their newest cameras. As of a couple days ago, it wasn't even on their website yet. So if it is, either way, I'm going to put links as soon as it is on that site, but this is one of their newer cameras. I'm looking forward to checking this guy out. So let's get into it, see how she comes. So, as always, we have a packet here. Looks like they do have a nice guide for setting up, probably a sticker like they've done before, or just a template in general. And that way you get your screw holes aligned where it's supposed to go. And then they have in here your 24-hour surveillance stickers. Oh, there's several. Oh, there's several in there. Holy cow, look at that. 5 of them. Cool. So 5 24-hour surveillance stickers. Looks like a few different types. All right. So, and then of course the owner's manuals and setup guides and stuff like that they come with, right? So that's that. We do have some mounting screws, depending on what you're mounting on and whether or not you're going to use these. But they do come with some mounting screws and some drywall or masonry anchors, depending on what you're going into. This is a PoE camera, so it does have an Ethernet bayonet, or whatever you want to call it, a sealer. Essentially, your cable comes in, that way it keeps it nice and sealed, so weather isn't going to get into where your Ethernet cord comes in. They do give you a small Ethernet cord on this one as well. So there's that. Pull the camera out itself. It looks like that is everything that's in there. Everything else is just foam packaging. It does have a pigtail cord set, like pretty much all of them do. So wherever you're going to mount this, you do drill a little bit bigger hole to get these pieces through. Back here we actually have a separate 12-volt power cord. We do have the reset button, and then this couple that actually seals your Ethernet cable actually couples onto this and then seals this whole set, so that your PoE or your Ethernet cable isn't going to get dust or water or whatever in it. At least it gives you just a little bit better protection. So we'll definitely use that. I do like that it gives you a decent length of that cable. It's always handy to have this. Depending on where I place it or wherever you place it, you may have to couple this together before putting this up into the hole wherever you're going to put it, or obviously if you're going to be able to access up in there real easily, you'll just pop this up into the wherever you're going to go, or through wherever you're going to go, and then do the hookups while it's already on the inside. So on the bottom of the camera, as you can see, this is kind of how it's probably going to sit, or you can go straight out. Is it just friction? It might be. Yeah, it's just friction. So it's just a friction fit ball right here. It actually has pretty good friction on it. And they do have lines on the ball, so it gives it a good amount of friction to it. This is metal. This is quality. This is well built. And then back here behind the camera, there is a micro SD card slot, or a TF card slot. 2 Phillips screws to open that up to get to where that is. So if you're not using the DVR, or the NVR like I am using, this can actually record directly onto the camera, and then you can access that through the Reolink app. I am not going to be setting it up with a micro SD card. I am setting this up with their NVR. The first couple cameras I did, the first time I set them up with the card access. But then I added the NVR, and I've never looked back because it's been fantastic. So, that said, this is very well built. 4 nice infrared camera sensors on the front should get a good amount of light, and then of course the camera. Yeah, this is built very nice. So, that said, we are going to run an Ethernet cable from my network closet to here. I am going to set this up. See if we be able to rotate this around. It's going to be, we'll leave it like that. There we go. There is, as you can see, a little indentation right there, so that if you are going to run the cable down and out of behind wherever you're going to mount this, it does have that like nice little indentation there for the cable to pop through. But if you, like me, I'm actually going to drill a hole directly behind it, and so this is going to hide all the wires. You won't even see the wires. They're all going to be hidden in the end. But for setup purposes, I can at least set this on the table without it worried. So I am not going to use this right away. This is going to be more when I fully install it. But let's go back. Let's get a cable plugged into my NVR. So it is a PoE NVR, so we can actually power this up. And then we're going to get this connected to my existing NVR, get it fully set up in that NVR system. So this is the back side of my Reolink NVR, and what I'm actually doing is, you can see where the blue cable is plugging in. That's the temporary cable that I'm using setting it up. I have it plugged into the 4th port, which will be the exact same port that I'm going to plug it into in the end when I actually have it all finalized and done. So if you are setting it up like I am, outside of actually having it in its permanent location, make sure you plug it into the same port. That way everything comes up like it's supposed to in the end. So that's what I'm doing. I have it plugged into the port that I'm going to use to power it, but also in the end when I actually put it in its final location, that's also the same port it's going to plug into. Okay, so now that same cable that I plugged in back there into the NVR itself, this is the cable, and we're going to plug this. And obviously if you were using this in the end, I'm going to actually have to go through this whole system here to plug into this guy, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in. See if we get any lights right away, or if anything shows up. I don't know if there's lights on this to let you know that it's working. I don't see anything. So, that said, once it boots up, we'll actually continue in the Reolink app to set it up. Now, if you already have an NVR system running, setup's going to be pretty awesome, and I do. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm adding this to my NVR that I already own and already have set up. But Reolink in general is really easy. If you're interested in finding more information about how to set up the NVR or anything like that, link down below in the description, also at the end of this video as well. So watch that, and let's go from there. Okay, so here we are in the App Store. The Reolink app is the app that I use, or you will use as well. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Like I said, I already have it set up. Let's get out of the cameras that are already there. So here's my 1, 2, 3. This should be coming in my 4th channel, which let's click on that 4th channel. And there it is. So there's my hand. So like I said, setup wise, I already have my NVR set up. It's literally a plug and play operation. Now, if you wanted to also put a memory card in there as well, you can you can set it up that way. But because I have an NVR, this is how I'm setting it up. Now, within here as well, I'm not going to have any PTZ controls or anything like that because this is not a PTZ camera. But I will be able to see, if you actually look on my other feeds, we can actually go into playback and actually see the whole layout. So if I go into this camera, we're not going to have a whole lot because I literally just plugged it in. But that's how it's going to look when we actually get playback. We can actually cycle through these playback options and choose time periods to actually play that video back from, which I will go more into when I actually do the review of this on my Tech Hoots channel. But that said, right now, looks like we actually have the capability of zooming in. Let's hit play on this. Let's aim it at something. Oh, am I playing back? I don't want to play back. Let's go live stream. There we go. So we have low quality, and let's go full quality. And so you can see where I've been doing some install work next to my solar stuff over here. So right now that's high quality. Let's take a photo of that. I'd like to see that photo. Let's see if we can pull that photo up. So when I hit that photo, it just saves it to my photo album. Let's just see what we can see. So I'm not going to say the best high quality in the world, but we can get a gist of what's going on here. We can see a lot of the small lettering, not the really small text, but that's a pretty solid photo. I'm actually looking forward to see what it can actually do outside in its actual own elements. So, yeah. Now, a couple things real quick I did want to point out. So if you're in here and you're going between the cameras, right now I have camera 1, and maybe you hit the stopping point and won't go any further because it's not showing. It may be because you don't have all the channels turned on. So in the top right, if we're in here, those little 3 dots, I can choose on that. Camera selection. And so it'll show you all 8 channels that I have on my NVR. So right now I have front, northeast, northwest, and door. And then camera 1, which is the current camera right here that we're setting up. And then I have channel 5, 6, and 7 technically that aren't currently being used. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck those because, well, I'm not currently using those. And then, of course, in the future when I do add them, I'll have to come in here and hit add. Hit done. Now I won't see any more channels past this one because I only have the first 4 in a row there already set up. So you can actually go in here. If you didn't come in and you were setting it up and you don't see it, it's probably because you don't have that channel selected. So also in here we can actually come in and hit the gear icon within the camera itself. We can actually look, make sure you have the camera that you're in question checked. We can change how we want display. So hit display. We can say, do we want anti-flicker mode? Do we want to flip the camera 180 degrees? So that depends on how you actually have it set up and actually have it mounted. You may have to come in and flip the picture. It's not going to flip automatically. Quality, this is going to be for your low quality or what they call fluent versus clear modes for viewing. You can change this. So fluent, 640, 10 frames per second, very, very low quality. But at least you can see it no matter where you are, even if you're on a low connection. Clear is going to be your high connection. So if we actually come in here, we can change max of 25 frames per second, max 3840 by 2160 4K, right? Max bit rates, we can change those in here as we see. I'm going to keep it all by default for now. Hit cancel here. We'll go back. Anti-flicker mode, that's going to depend on where you place it. If you have maybe fluorescent lighting that's causing flickering, you can change that. Day and night, automatic. So you can change if you just wanted black and white with that infrared or full color, or if you wanted to automatically choose between the two. I'm going to keep it on auto. Brightness, we can adjust the brightness of it, so we can crank up the brightness or bring it down, or just leave it in the center like we had it. You can adjust that. Camera name, I keep that usually in the bottom right. I actually put the date in the bottom left. That's how all my other cameras are done. So I'm going to keep that the same. Watermark, whether you want the Reolink watermark up there or not, you can choose to turn that on or off. That's up to you. And then there are privacy masks. If you want to have a privacy mask, you can choose to do that within here as well. Exposure and backlight settings off. Backlit or dynamic, I guess. We can change all these. And some of these settings you're going to want to fool around with once you actually have it mounted, where you are going to actually have it mounted, so what it's seeing. But that's the item. Also, right now it's called Camera 1, which I'm not going to really want it to be called camera 1. So let's actually come back down here to the main setting where I have my cameras. This is where you actually change the name. You can see the little edit symbol next to that. And we can actually change it from camera 1 to, I'm going to call it backyard, because that's where I believe I'm going to actually place it. Hit save. So now it's called backyard. Once I actually put it in where it actually is going to go. I already have the cable actually ran to that area. I just don't have it set up yet. I have to terminate it yet, but that's obviously coming now that I have the camera ready to install. So that's the camera. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to place my camera right here in the top corner of one of my gable vents, kind of nearby where my wireless access point is, if you watched that video before. So that's that guy. So I've already drilled the big hole. I just have a nice large bit. This is for all the big cable, and because the big cable has that big kind of like bayonet clip on it, I need a pretty big bit so I can squeeze it through there. Now it's just about taking the little template they give you and basically lining it up where you want it. Now I can just grab the camera and get it screwed in with the screws that it came with. Okay, so this is that big clip that I was talking to you about. Essentially I'm going to feed this one through the hole first, followed by these two, and then this third, and then just kind of put it all in there. And I know where it comes out in the attic already, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off of the camera there. And so this is all one piece. You can't really take it apart. So at least it gives me a straight shot at it. I'll just kind of have to hold on to the camera itself. So this collar on here is actually what locks it in place. So wherever you aim the camera, you just got to make sure you tighten that locking collar up basically on it. So now I'm going to actually go up in the attic real quick. I'm going to plug it into the cable I already have up in the attic, and then I'll be back out and we'll adjust it based on the video feed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the stream, because we already have it set up. As soon as I plugged it in, she's up and going. I'm going to take the stream from my feed, and basically I can just adjust this to how I want it. I think I'm going to aim it down a little bit. That way I'm getting just below my deck here for the most part, all the way out to my entire backyard. It looks really good. I'll show you here in a second. Just make sure that that collar right there is tight. I don't think it's going anywhere. So to show you what it looks like, my feed now looks like that. So now I have essentially by my trailers and my work vehicle, sheds here, shed back there, and anybody that basically anything that happens in the backyard now is pretty much covered by this guy, and the quality is fantastic. Just fantastic. So that's pretty awesome. Definitely impressed by the quality already. So that's anything to show by it. But yeah, that's the install. She's all set and good to go. Well, I will be honest that I'm still sweating from being in my attic. It's not a hot day out either. It's 70 degrees out, but it's humid, and up there it's always hot. So unless it's winter, right? So that's it. That's the install of the RLC 812A. Can't wait to do more on the review on this side. I definitely will have some video that I can actually utilize in the video review, and so you'll actually see raw data right out of the camera. Excuse me. Stuff from the being up in the attic. But I will say this. You can definitely tell the quality difference between this guy and my 5 megapixel Reolink cameras. So that's a big plus. I'm happy to see a difference. So that 4K quality is definitely coming through. Nothing else. When I do the review, I'll definitely take it. I'll at least share my my thoughts once I actually see it on a 4K display, either on my PC or on my TV. But that said, if you have any questions about this specific camera or this specific setup, by all means, let me know. Comment below or head over to techgooch.com. You can get a hold of me through there. Like, comment, subscribe if you have time to share the video. I'd greatly appreciate it. And thank you, as always, for sticking by to the end. I will be doing a full review on TechGooch. That will be listed below and here at the end. So, thank you for watching here to the end, and we'll catch you back here on GeekSmart for another video setup and tutorial. So, we'll see you soon. Thanks for stopping by.